love for you is like a truck, Berserker.
You fool.
Do you want to making Berserker? Berserker.
Did he just say making?
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the absolute terror that is Berserk. So if you've seen Berserk or read the manga, you probably don't give a shit about the story right now, but for anyone who hasn't seen it or hasn't read the manga, I'll make this very short. Berserk is a medieval wartime fantasy story of a man who has the shittiest day every day of the week. It's every day is a Monday for this guy, alright? And he is so pissed at everything that at one point he's gonna snap and, he's gonna start killing shit around him. You'll see why, and I won't give off too many spoilers. Moving on. Berserk and the Band of the Hawk recently came out for the PC. I turn into a small animal whenever I hear that Berserk gets a new chapter, a new anime adaptation, or a game even, and it gets me really hyped. Lots of people have basically shat on this game for it being a Muso type of a game, similar to Dynasty Warriors and, such games that you'll see like Fist of the North Star and so on. But to be completely honest, the old Sega Dreamcast Berserk game wasn't any different. It was quite similar to that. Actually, it being anything else than a Muso might make it shittier. Let's try to understand this. He fights hordes of soldiers, monsters, and all kinds of fucked up shit. If it were anything like an RPG or a hack and slash, it would probably undermine the whole idea of fighting hordes. So in this aspect, I'd say the Muso type was the best choice. Moving on to the graphics. So, the graphics are wonderful. One of the best I've seen in any Muso game. It's nicely optimized and doesn't drop FPS in the highest quality in the middle of a horrific shitstorm of enemies and effects. Great points in that. The music and audio in the game is kinda loud, in all honesty, but there's an option for toning that down naturally in the menu. The game could have been more graphic and brutal, which is something I can say for the anime too, but it's 2017 and people today are softer than clouds, so we have to cater to their fragile emotional states. The story. The story could have been explained and told a bit better, but I'll take it as is for a Muso game. They've put a fair amount of content into this, mind you, on the highest difficulty around the 40-hour plus or more experience. Depends on how well you play the game. Anyone who's read Berserk will know what the dreaded boat is, and yes, the story of the game ends on that note. They skipped some of the favorite moments of mine from the manga, but I'd say the most brutal at that as well. I'd say that I'll never forgive the guys who made the anime as well, and the guys who made the game as well, for skipping the Lost Children arc. It's my favorite arc. And I honestly thought that was the most brutal one, from what I've read and from what I've seen, and it just had the most shiver-inducing scenes, moments, and panels that I've ever read in a manga. Not just Berserk, but ever in any manga. So, for anyone who likes the story in the game, they should really go and read the manga and watch the anime. It's a great thing, really. As for the gameplay itself, the combo system could have been done a bit better, honestly. It was somewhat limiting, and I've repeated some moves 100 times or more. But in all fairness, it's better than most of the other Muso type games, so gotta give it points on that. There's a ton of playable characters, which gives the game replayability and some diversity, and there's also an RPG aspect of the game. You can equip consumable items and stationary ones that give you a passive bonus. You can also equip a horse. Overall, I really like this game, and I'd play it a billion more times if I had the time for it. Would totally recommend it to anyone who loves dark and brutal stories. With that, I pretty much summed up my thoughts on Berserk and the Band of the Hawk. Feel free to drop a like if you enjoyed it, and a dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to my channel for more gaming content, and I encourage you to leave a comment with your opinion on the game or the video itself. And to finish this video off with a bang, some of you might have heard, but Berserk, the anime, is continuing with the next season on the 7th of April. And I'm really excited to see the next part, and how they'll improve upon their bad feedback from the last one. Honestly, I liked the last one, even though a lot of people didn't, and I think it's worth a watch. Maybe it's not as good as the manga, maybe it's not as good as the 1997 one, but I do encourage people to give support to Berserk, because I'd rather watch Berserk than Keijo. Also, just to add some final few words, my next video will be my thoughts on Battlerite's newest patch and overhaul for a good number of range champions and some practical gameplay of it. Hope you enjoy.